Think about the last lie you told. It probably wasn't a big one. I'm fine. Sorry, I didn't see your text. Love what you did with the place. You didn't plan it. You didn't agonize over it. It just came out smooth and automatic, like your brain has a whole department dedicated to making small dishonesties sound natural. And here's the thing that should stop you for a second. That department is old. Not old like your grandparents did it too. Old like it was running before we were even fully human. Before spoken language. Before fire. Maybe. Somewhere back in the deep dark of our evolutionary past, one of our ancestors looked at another one and, for the first time, said something that wasn't true on purpose. So the question is simple. When did that start? When did a human being first look another human being in the eye and lie to their face? And what did that moment actually take? Because it turns out lying isn't just a bad habit we picked up along the way. It's one of the most cognitively demanding things a human being does, and figuring out how to do it might be one of the reasons we became who we are. Let's start before language even existed, because lying didn't begin with words. It began with bodies. Watch any social animal long enough and you'll catch it cheating. A chimpanzee finds a stash of fruit, glances around, and then walks away from it. Waits, circles back later when the others have lost interest, and eats alone. A ground squirrel that spotted a predator will sometimes rattle its tail as if it's tracking a snake, even when there's no snake there, just to scatter the competition off a food source. Ravens have been watched pretending to cache food in one spot while another raven is watching, then sneaking back later to move it somewhere else once the observer is gone. None of this involves a single word. It's deception running on pure behavior, on posture and timing and misdirection, and our ancestors almost certainly had this same toolkit millions of years before anyone could speak a sentence. Faking a limp, hiding a kill, feigning disinterest in a mate someone else wanted. This is lying with the body, and it's cheap. It doesn't require you to understand what's inside another creature's head. It just requires you to act and let the acting do the work. But there's a ceiling on how far body lying can take you, because it only works moment to moment, face to face, right in front of the other animal. It can't survive being repeated back later. It can't be planned 3 days in advance. To get past that ceiling, our ancestors needed something much harder to build, a working model of what was happening inside somebody else's mind. This is the part that's easy to skim past, but it's the real engine of the whole story. To lie to someone, you can't just know what's true. You have to understand that they don't know what's true and that you can control what they end up believing. That's a wildly sophisticated piece of mental machinery. Psychologists call it theory of mind, the ability to recognize that other people have beliefs separate from reality and separate from your own beliefs. A dog can't really lie to you in the full sense because a dog can't hold the idea, my owner currently believes something false, and I am the one keeping it that way. A 4-year-old human can. Somewhere in our evolutionary past, natural selection built that capability into us. And the moment it clicked into place, deception stopped being a trick of the body and became a weapon of the mind. And once you can model what's inside someone else's head, you don't even need to move. You just need words. This is why so many researchers who study the origins of language keep circling back to an uncomfortable idea. Language wasn't invented purely so we could cooperate and share honest information about where the berries were. It was also almost immediately a tool for controlling what other people believed, whether that was true or not. A word is not tied to reality the way a footprint is. You can say, there are lions over that ridge, whether or not there are lions over that ridge, and the sound coming out of your mouth costs you nothing either way. That's a strange kind of power. For the first time, one human being could plant a belief directly inside another human being's mind without any physical evidence at all. Lying with language didn't replace lying with the body. It supercharged it, because now deception could travel. It could be planned in advance, delivered from a distance, and repeated to someone who wasn't even there to see the original scene. So now you've got minds that can model other minds, and a tool, language, built for exactly that kind of manipulation. That should have been chaos. A species riddled with liars ought to collapse because trust is the glue holding any group together, and once everyone assumes everyone else might be lying, cooperation falls apart. So here's the real puzzle. If lying is this old and this powerful, why didn't it destroy us? The answer is that our ancestors didn't just get better at lying. They got better at catching lies, and the two abilities evolved together, locked in a kind of arms race inside a single species. Some researchers call this the Machiavellian intelligence hypothesis, the idea that a huge amount of what makes human brains so unusually large and social wasn't built for solving math problems or making tools. It was built for navigating a minefield of alliances, betrayals, favors, and reputations inside your own group. You needed to remember who owed you what. You needed to notice who had lied to you last winter. You needed to read a flicker of hesitation on someone's face and decide, right then, whether to trust what they just told you. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar has argued that gossip itself, the constant low hum of talking about who did what to whom, functioned as a kind of social policing system, a way of tracking reputations across a group too large for everyone to personally witness everyone else's behavior. In a very real sense, the ability to lie and the ability to detect a lie were pulling our ancestors' brains in the same direction, toward bigger, more socially sophisticated minds, at the exact same time. And this is where it gets strange, because deception didn't stay confined to individual little lies. Eventually, it scaled up into something much bigger, and this is the twist most people never see coming. The same mental machinery that let one person deceive another is, underneath it all, the same machinery that lets large groups of strangers believe in a shared fiction together, a myth, a god, a tribal identity, a currency that has no value except that everyone has agreed to pretend it does. None of these things are physically real in the way a rock or a river is real, and yet believing in them together, all pretending the same fiction is true at the same time, is arguably what allowed human groups to grow past the size where everybody personally knows everybody else. Small deceptions between two people and grand shared fictions across thousands of strangers rest on the exact same cognitive trick, the ability to hold a belief in your head that isn't strictly grounded in physical fact and act on it anyway. The archaeological trail backs this up in its own quiet way. Counterfeit trade goods, fake amber, and imitation shell beads passed off as the real, more valuable thing show up in excavations going back thousands of years, evidence that people were gaming each other's trust for material gain long before anyone wrote a word down. Deception left fingerprints. It just left them in economics and belief systems instead of bones. So step back and look at the whole shape of it. The body learned to fake a limp, and that bought us deception without needing to understand another mind at all. Theory of mind gave us the ability to actually picture what someone else believed, and that turned deception into something deliberate and aimed. Language gave that deliberate deception a delivery system that could travel across distance and time. And the constant pressure of catching liars in return is a serious candidate for one of the forces that built the oversized, socially obsessive brain sitting in your skull right now. Lying didn't chip away at human cooperation. In a strange, almost backwards way, the arms race between lying and lie detection may have helped build the very brainpower that lets millions of total strangers cooperate at all. So the next time you hear yourself say, "I'm fine," to someone who clearly needed to hear it, or watch a friend tell a story that's been sanded down and improved with every retelling, remember what that small, automatic dishonesty actually is. It's not a flaw riding along on top of human intelligence. It's one of the oldest pieces of software we ever wrote, running quietly under everything else, doing exactly what it was built to do a very, very long time ago.